this month. And in talking about joy, what we are talking about is not just a reaction to things out there, not just something that happens to us that makes us feel good. You know, ooh, a vanilla fudge ice cream cone. That's good. But that's external, and that comes and that goes. We're talking about joy as being the very experience of being alive, the very experience of being the love of God in action, the very experience of being connected to everyone and everything, and doing something just for the sheer sake of doing it. I'm working on an article for our blog, and I'll just share a few lines of it with you. But for those of you who were here a couple weeks ago, I was talking about Dusty Springfield, I only want to be with you. And for me, the word be is in capital bold letters. I only want to be with you. Would you rather hang out with somebody who wants something from you or somebody who just wants to be with you? You know, on your day off, do you go down to the car lot and hang out with the salesman? No. Why? Because they're going to try to sell you a car, right? They want, you are a dollar sign in the lowest, not to all, but in the lowest form of that transaction. You are just simply a quota to be met. So we just want to be, and joy is in just being. See, joy is not in the doing or the achieving. We can be joyful in the doing, but the doing doesn't bring us the joy. It can in the old school way of thinking of things, but what we want to do is we want to be the joy in everything that we do. We want to be the joy in everywhere we go. We want to be the joy in someone else's life and in our own life simply because that is the absolute truth of who and what we are. God is joy. We are God's expression of love. So if we look at love, and if we look at the joy, and we look at motherhood, I think the joy of motherhood brings up for me 3 points to consider. Why should we be joyful? How does motherhood help us to remember to be joyful, to experience the joy? And I think the first thing that it brings up for us is it lets us know that we are part of something so much bigger than we are, that has thought this through, that has worked this all out before we ever got here. We are part of a plan. We are cared for, nurtured, guided, and guarded more than we know. The second thing that it brings up is this whole idea of nurturing and caring for and inspiring. And the third thing it brings up for me is that motherhood brings into this plane of existence a unique and a wonderful expression of God's love like no other. And the process of motherhood, what's that be? So let's look at the first point. Our mothers were part of a mysterious and a wonderful process that they did not create. Those of us in the room who are mothers did not create the process of motherhood, did you? We participated in it. You participated in it. Some of us consciously and deliberately, and some of us surprise. Yes, but nevertheless, the process knew exactly what to do. How incredible. Look at the evolution of life as we understand it, and our understanding is always going to change. But if you look at the understanding of life, you have these tiny little cells floating around in the ocean somehow. And they're able to divide and become two. I remember as a kid in high school looking through the microscope, which were new in those days, looking through the microscope, and they had this little little slide, you know, and you had an eyedropper, and you put it in a bottle, and you put the amoeba. It was a saline solution or something, and it had little single-celled animals in it. You put it under the microscope, and I was looking through the microscope at the little amoeba kind of floating around doing their thing, and one of them split in two right before my very eyes. It was just like magic. Poof, there it was. It was one, then it was two. Wow. Here it is life. You know, at that level, life is doing something to move itself forward. And the wisdom that created the stars and the planets, the wisdom that created all of life, knew exactly what to do. And this little cell became two cells. And then over time, they kind of got together in colonies. Now, mind you, they can't talk. They don't have flags. They can't sign constitutions. But they got together in a spirit of cooperation. And some of those little cells specialized, and they became hearts, and some of them specialized, and they became digestive organs, and some of them specialized, and they became eyes. And over time, these tiny